Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
This is Banned from Ringside.
Tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast, we have your Backlash recap. Darby Allin, Jeff Hardy go out there and have a special night. Ibushi tries to burn it all down. That and a whole bunch more tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast.
See, all that shit you was fucking with him last week.
I have thoughts.
I bet you do.
Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Marks, and welcome to the Banned from Ringside podcast. As always, I'm your host, Bill Vagey, a.k.a. Now he knows A, your name, B, where you're from, C, your gimmick, and D, what your finisher is. And sitting to my left, we have Jason Cornelius Bell. What's going on, JCB?
Oh, that's original. Good shit, Bo. Good shit.
That's two Reservoir Dogs in a row.
Yeah. I need to go back and watch that movie again. I forget how good it is. And on the note of Reservoir Dogs, please allow me to ask the congregation to bow their heads as I read from the latest edition from the Banned from Ringside podcast, volume 256, chapter 3, verse 14. And the good smart saith, hashtag boo the heels. It's all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat the holy trinity of BFR. The countdown to 260. Coming up, 4 episodes. It'll be 5 years of BFR, ladies and gentlemen. Trip off that.
Whoa, and out there in Portland, Oregon, we have, making his triumphant return, we have Two Beer Zach Pullman. What's going on, Two Beer?
Oh, man. Happy to be back. And, yeah, you guys are doing a good job holding it down. A track season is apparently very taxing on the parents. And, of course, it has to happen on Thursday. So we're done with track. Podcast is back to being my new best friend on Thursdays. So, yeah.
We're coming at you from sweltering St. Louis, St. Charles, Missouri, in the St. Louis area.
It's gotta suck.
It is so fucking hot here. It's unbelievable how hot it got out of nowhere.
Right.
It's in the 90s. And It's humid as fuck because it's been raining for a month. Like, it is terrible out here. Like, Jason and I look like we're in the middle of July. It's no joke. No joke. It's so hot.
It was literally like 70 earlier in the week. And then I looked up, and by like Wednesday, it was like the high was supposed to be 90. I'm like, 90? Man, that's got to be a mistake. No way. Man, that shit was 90 like a motherfucker. It's 90 today.
It's May 12th.
Right. I'm like, what's July going to be like? We going to melt.
It's funny because it's still been rainy quite a bit out here, but we had 2 really nice, 70-degree sunny days this week.
Okay.
And I was like, it's so nice. And I was like talking to people who live out here, for longer than me. And they're like, oh, it's so nice. And they're like, yeah, this is how it's supposed to be every day. Like, this year sucks. And I was like, still better than back home. But,
you ain't never lying,
yeah,
boy.
apparently it's supposed to be gorgeous out here, and it's still just a setting from The Crow.
We got
that was nice. I like what you did there.
Lucha Chris put something on Twitter about he made a fake shirt for me one time that said BFR Bill, and on the back it said the Crow sucked. Apparently I went on a rant one time about how the Crow sucked.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't like the Crow very much, but it got me thinking. I looked on the Wikipedia, looked up the Rotten Tomatoes for the Crow, expecting it to be like 37, 38%. It's right. 81.
Damn.
I did not know that I did not remember that being a critically acclaimed movie.
I think a lot of it has to do with, the death of Brandon Lee. But apparently, people did like this movie. I mean,
people
is what it
popped
is.
for the death of Brandon Lee.
Yeah, they sure did. Yeah.
Let's say it's his last movie. We got to go see it.
I remember watching Siskel and Ebert, and Gene Siskel's like, "Listen, I popped." So
that gun popped, I popped.
You know what? Let's just get going. Let's get to that 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
JCB, kick it off.
Let's go back to Sunday night. I believe this was in Rhode Island, of weird places to be for a pay-per-view, or a premium live event. But nonetheless, WrestleMania Backlash takes place in Rhode Island on Sunday night. The main event, obviously, being the Bloodline versus RK Bro and Drew McIntyre 6-card show. A little surprising they didn't have anything on the pre-match show. I went to Tenders to watch this, and
Thanks for the invite. Not you.
I
Not you. Not you.
You a dad, right?
It was less than 3 hours. That's a nice little tight fucking
I thought about
WWE
you
pay-per-view.
when I was like, what time is this bad boy starting? And we were trying to figure it out. I was like, it's 7 o'clock. I was like, well, it can't go past 10 o'clock. This is perfect for Bill. He'll love this. Like I said, 6-match card. I guess my biggest takeaway from this is, I guess it's Ronda Charlotte. This is the match that I guess some liked, others didn't. I know my counterpart across from me is glad that this feud is over. I can't necessarily say I'm glad it's over, but they need a break from this. The build for this feud this time around just didn't work. Personally, for me, I'm sorry. I've watched enough WWE where you can't just Jedi mind trick me to not remember that Sasha tapped Charlotte out. To me, that's the whole story about being tapped out or quitting or whatever the case may be. The first match was basically about the title. This match obviously is about now quitting. I think we being WWE like to make you forget about certain things to focus on the now. And I get that. The now is Ronda Rousey. My question is, from this point moving forward, with Charlotte, quote-unquote, being out with the broken arm, who's next for Ronda Rousey? On deck, I'm guessing somewhere has to be Bayley. She's been gone pretty much past the 9-month limit. I can't see if we're going to make Ronda Rousey be this next superstar that she's going to have to be. If you're taking Charlotte off for an indefinite period of time, Ronda Rousey's going to have to carry the mail, for lack of a better term. So that means she's going to have to step up her promo game, and she's going to have to step up in ring. The only person I can think of that is a heel, not Charlotte, but Sasha would be the only other person I can think of that can make Ronda Rousey step up her game on the SmackDown roster. Outside of that, I'm not sure what you do with Ronda Rousey. The match itself I thought was good. It accomplished its goal. Ronda Rousey gets over and she breaks Charlotte's arm. But now, what next?
Zach, what were your thoughts on the pay-per-view?
Generally, very positive. It's funny because I tweeted, genuinely surprised to find out there was a WWE pay-per-view tonight, because I had missed the podcast last week where we would have talked about it and it would have reminded me. And I keep up with it and stuff, but like when it came down to like me just hanging out on Sunday, doing the stuff we were doing, I was like, oh shit, there's a show tonight. And it just hadn't even crossed my mind. So I wasn't like super enthused about it or anything, but I turned it on. The show, I think, part of it was the brevity, like Bill said, you know, like a 3-hour show. It was pretty easy to watch. Most of it was good. Started out really good. I was almost like, man, this is the match that I wanted to see on the show, which was Cody and Seth. And I was like, I could probably just stop watching now. But at the same time, you know, what else?
I said the same damn thing too. I was like, they can go no place but down from here. I'm done. Let's just leave it alone.
And yeah, it was totally solid, really good rematch, but not as good as their WrestleMania match. The WrestleMania match was actually kind of transcendent. It was pretty great. But yeah, I mean, a couple stinkers. Almost and Lashley sucked, but we knew it was going to suck. You know, Madcap Moss, Happy Corbin. It was a Raw match. We knew it wasn't going to be anything special. It was also kind of at a weak spot in the card, coming right after a title change. Edge and AJ, also maybe not as good as the WrestleMania match, and I wasn't too high on the WrestleMania match. I thought the whole finish was very much like a Raw angle. It was just, you know, we had, what's his name, banned from ringside, Damian Priest, but then, of course, still somehow ends up in the ring brawling with Finn Balor. But that kind of goes along with something else I wanted to point out with, you know, we had a title match, and then we had the six-man, which the six-man absolutely ruled. Super fun match. But what they did here was they either didn't continue storylines or they didn't create storylines, and they didn't shoot any angles. It was just like almost a show in a vacuum. So if you were looking at the show as just a wrestling show, like, yeah, it was entertaining, fun 3 hours on a Sunday if you got 3 hours to kill, and you got the Sunday scaries, and you don't feel like going back to work, so you can smoke a bunch of weed, and you just have a little WWE hole, totally fine. But if you're looking at the future, like, yeah, like Jason said, what are we doing with Ronda? We don't know. We also have no idea who could possibly beat or contend for Roman Reigns' title, because you have this opportunity to have him be pinned in a 6-man and then set up, like Drew could have pinned Roman as the finish, and then set up for Stadium Show in the UK. They have Stadium Show coming up in Vegas or whatever. But yeah, overall, I think that's kind of the big story here, was the lack of stories, except for the Ronda Rousey title win. And, you know, everything else except for that and the brief kind of like snippet of Rhea going into the Judgment Day faction. It was just a wrestling show, which was fine. But what are you going to do now? You got your titles unified, and apparently this one guy that has the unified titles is not going to be working that much. So,
I love it.
I mean, there was a couple news items, as you guys mentioned. Ronda winning is the biggest news item coming out. We both called it. I'm sure Zach would have called Ronda Rousey for the same reason that we did, is that we can't imagine Ronda Rousey ever saying, I quit. It just seems impossible.
Yeah.
So her winning, there wasn't a whole lot of drama to me. That was certainly better than the WrestleMania match, but the WrestleMania match was garbage. So I had very low expectations. I liked the match. I came home. I was buzzed. I turned it on. That was the match that was on. Aaron was nursing the baby, so I watched basically the whole match, and I might have fired off a couple tweets about how much I hate Ronda Rousey, and I do. I think that there's something about Ronda Rousey where maybe she doesn't want to be. It seems like it almost seems like getting booed bothers her more than it does the standard wrestler. Maybe she just doesn't want to be a heel. She's just a terrible baby face. I
think she has a huge ego, and I think she takes it very personally when people boo her, which I don't understand. If you're actually a wrestling fan, like, that you can't understand that.
Especially a wrestling fan that apparently idolizes Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
who used to get booed out of every building. Like, that was his whole thing, was just getting booed. Right. So Rhea Ripley showing up, we might have seen it coming, but that's one of those things where predictable is not always bad. That's the right move for that faction, is to have Rhea Ripley. I like her as an addition to that faction. I hope that we still get Finn Balor as an addition to that faction and have it be 4 people. I'm not saying it's going to happen.
No, they keep doing the Bullet Club too sweet, man. I'm telling you, that's the kiss of death every time.
Cody and Seth ruled. I echo Zach's statements that it wasn't as good as the WrestleMania match, but the WrestleMania match was on fire. Yeah. By the way, I watched probably half of the Cody Rhodes Broken Skull session today. If you haven't seen it, it's a must watch. I haven't even gotten to the AEW parts, and just listening to him talk to Stone Cold about coming up and training and everything. And really, I think that we've said it here. I know Zach and I have talked about it privately via text or whatever on our thread, our BFR thread.
I was going to say, you got a thread without me? What the fuck?
No, we don't. Stone Cold's a fantastic interviewer. Like, he is engaged with his interviewee, and he asks really good questions. He's really into it. He's almost kind of like Jimmy Fallon with all of the stupid laughing, you know? He's just really fucking good at interviewing. My biggest takeaway is that this was a well-wrestled pay-per-view. It was a quick pay-per-view. WWE has certainly told, they've told us, and they've never told us outright, but there are pay-per-views that matter, and then there are pay-per-views that they just don't really give a fuck about, that they just build up because they've been in that rhythm of pay-per-view every month. And this is one of those pay-per-views. I mean, the main event was a 3-on-3 match. It wasn't even a title match. It was a 3-on-3 match that used the biggest wrestler in the company, Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns still gets the pin. That being said, that match fucking ruled. That was a very fun, high-energy 3-on-3 match that I thought did a really great job of showcasing Matt Riddle and what Matt Riddle can do. And you can tell that the company loves Matt Riddle, and I'm excited for Matt Riddle going forward. Of course, they could have had Roman take the pin, but
I wasn't even going that far. I was just thinking
Roman doesn't take pins.
Yeah, right. I was thinking more like one of the Usos take the pin and have the babyface win. I know you're not going to get Roman taking the pin. That would have been the perfect scenario because it makes sense. You can now use that, like Two Beer said, and build upon it.
I mean, even one of his 2 losses to Brock Lesnar, he didn't take a pin. Brock Lesnar speared him out of a cage, and Roman Reigns speared Brock Lesnar out of a cage, and Brock Lesnar was the first one to touch the ground, which means that he won.
No, that's a different reign, for lack of a better
term.
No,
I know, but I'm just saying, Roman Reigns, he doesn't get pinned very often.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, but I guess more so to my point is, if you're not going to do that finish, babyfaces probably should have just went over them.
Yes, and you did pick the faces to win.
It is what it is.
I picked the Bloodline, therefore I win. Thank you. I don't even know who won Happy Corbin versus Madcap Moss. I guess I didn't see it. Who won? Madcap Moss?
Madcap rolled him up. I think Sunset Flip, actually.
Nice. So the other news that's adjacent to Backlash is that apparently the night before, Roman Reigns cuts a promo and he says to the crowd in Trenton, New Jersey, "This might be the last time that you guys see me. I'm going to start a different stage of my career. I'm going to be starting a different stage of my career, and you guys might not see me," which tells me he's not going to be working house shows anymore.
At the minimum. And
the rumor coming out of Wrestling Observer, if I read this correctly, because I don't subscribe, but I am on wrestling Twitter, is that he's going to take 10 weeks off. Now, you can't have, or maybe you can.
Shit.
It doesn't seem like they can have a guy take 10 weeks off who's got the only heavyweight belts. Can they have 10 weeks of television without a single heavyweight, men's heavyweight belt on programming?
See Brock Lesnar?
Yeah, but there was still another.
They weren't unified at the time.
You can still do it.
Okay, but you see.
Oh, they will.
You see our point.
And you see my point. Just because there was a second belt out there does not mean that Roman Reigns will not be able to take 10 weeks off, and they will figure it out. One way or the other, it might not be something that we want to see. It might not be something that is pleasurable to other fans. But if he's going to take 10 weeks off, guess what Roman Reigns going to do? Take 10 weeks off. Y'all figure this shit out.
So if he's going to do it this summer, they do not have time enough. This is what I was going to say. They do not have time enough to build up a babyface contender to have it be.
They already have it.
To have it be a meaningful storyline. Who?
It's Drew McIntyre. He'll be first. Cody's next.
But can Drew McIntyre?
I was going to say, actually, I feel like Cody's like the hottest right now. And you already have that. He's been telling that story. He came back for the belt. I think longer term, I feel like Drew would be the play if he's going to be on the pay-per-view. So there was the original report of him, not being around, and then there was essentially he was pulled off the advertising for all house shows and televisions and stuff, but he is going to be working a couple dates, so it will be more like the Lesnar thing. So he will be working a couple dates, so he could drop the belt to Drew or to Cody, but yeah, we'll see.
All right, any other thoughts about Backlash?
Not really. I mean, you guys stole my thunder on Cody and Seth, on Omos Lashley. Yeah. I mean, it felt like, and I said it the night of, this felt like a Raw. It was just on Sunday.
Yeah, with good matches with meaningful endings. I mean,
no, I would say that you can't say that. Every now and then, a Raw or SmackDown will have a meaningful ending. See Bobby Lashley winning the title. So in this scenario, you just had Charlotte lose to Ronda Rousey and get her arm broke. So that's a meaningful ending. We can move on forward. It just felt like I said, for me personally, it was a 3-hour show. It felt like a Raw. It went fairly quickly. You can't ask for too much more than that. Cody and Seth did what they were supposed to do as the curtain jerker, and then from there it was just kind of.
All right, I'm not going to argue this point just because I don't care enough. I just disagree with you.
Okay.
Fine.
Look, you're right. You're entitled to your opinion. Your opinion is just wrong.
Let's get to that 2 count.
1, 2, 3.
2 beer. What's the 2 count?
2 count. We have it being Wednesday night, and you know what that means. AEW Dynamite. And this was a good show. Not just me being an AEW fan. This is a good wrestling show. So,
This was a good show. This was a fucking really good show.
yeah. We had Adam Cole versus Dax Harwood right out of the gate. Super solid, really good wrestling match. Just told a pretty simple story, but very much worthwhile story. Pretty classic, but just Dax injuring the ribs, and then that being the kind of story throughout, him not being able to even create much offense. And these guys just really banged it out for what I don't even know, upwards of 15 minutes though. And Martha Hart was there. First time I've seen her on television outside of Dark Side of the Ring. And they wrestled. Crowd was super hot. Near falls. There was a near count out, which was super cool because Dax had his ribs hurt, and then Cole knocked him off the apron, and Bryce Remsburg was counting him and even leaned out of the ropes to do the 9, and Dax almost didn't even make it in. And they're trading, offense, roll-ups, all this stuff, and Dax goes to put him in the sharpshooter, and the crowd's just freaking out. And he can't keep it on because his ribs hurt too bad. And Adam Cole gets him in the sharpshooter, and the crowd is freaking out because that goddamn, Hart family moves, and Adam Cole doesn't have Hart family blessing, and everybody knows how much Dax loves and respects the Hart family. And, just a really good finish. And, yep, makes sense that Cole would go on. I kind of see Cole being on this side of the bracket, the guy that goes to the finals. So, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Do you know what I said about this Dynamite before it started? Dang, it's supposed to be louder. Hold on a second. God damn it. Nah, it didn't work.
See,
anyway,
that's what you get. That
is what I get.
That's what you get. See? Either make it a drop or don't, okay? Don't be just over here fucking around.
I only have 8 spots for drops. This was a tremendous show. I loved Adam Cole versus Dax Harwood. The right guy went over. I was very entertained by the match, though. Jason, what you think?
I'll piggyback on what Two Beer was saying on Dax being, having the blessing of Owen Hart, or just being an Owen Hart fan, Brett more especially. Adam Cole played on that. When he was in the corner getting ready to do the super kick, he does a super kick anyway because, that's just what he does. But he tuned up the band before he did that super kick. And that's where, Long Island, God bless them. I don't want to call it Bizarro World, but they were one of the hottest crowds that AEW has had this
tremendous crowd
in 2022. They knew that at least, I guess we were on the same simpatico. I'm thinking, oh, man, is this some HBK type shit? Because then they started to get mad, and the next thing you know, it started to get hot again. The finish was a kind of a surprise because I didn't think it would be a submission finish. But once again, I think about it, I close my eyes, I see Montreal, the screw job where now Adam Cole, a.k.a. Shawn Michaels, is putting the sharpshooter on Bret Hart, a.k.a. Dax Harwood. And I'm just like, dude, what the fuck is going on? So, the callbacks were good. The match was good. I thought the callbacks made this match even better.
What was next?
Next, we had Adam Page comes out for commentary, and CM Punk has a match with John Silver. And CM Punk is so good. I'm going to talk about how good Adam Page is in a minute. But CM Punk is so good. He comes out in an Islanders jersey. So the crowd pops big for him initially. They see him in the Islanders jersey, and then he turns around, and I don't know the guy's name, but essentially he's wearing a jersey of a guy who left the Islanders after a very long stint to go to the Toronto Maple Leafs. So total heel dick move, because CM Punk knows his role in Long Island because he is the antithesis of MJF, and he knows he's going to get booed.
Can I say something, Tubir? I'm proud of you that you know that. That was very well done. I would not think that you would know who Tavares was.
Tubir?
Yeah,
he's a hockey fan.
I do like hockey, but I didn't know that. I read about it. So
okay,
just let him believe it, Zach.
Yeah, but I do enjoy hockey. Kind of bummed we don't have a team out here. I got to go all the way up to Seattle if I want to see some NHL. So,
sounds horrible.
But I mean, these guys like have a fun match. Like, you know, no. Nobody's thinking that John Silver's actually going to win this, but John Silver does a great job of kind of, you know, getting the crowd hot, Johnny Hungy, and they were behind him. But, you know, essentially Punk uses the buckshot lariat, and Adam Page is pissed. He's pissed. And
He
storms up to the ring. He was so mad. And he's like,
my name is Willie Beeman. Steaming Willie Beeman. I was like, God damn, no, he did not.
I just have to really congratulate Adam Page again on being awesome here, because his like nonverbal facial expressions and just his kind of the way he carries himself tells, like, he's like the best storyteller, like AEW roster, like active AEW roster, because Kenny's not in there, and he does such a great job of conveying emotion through his facial expressions, which is like absolutely prerequisite of a great babyface. But he does it in the sense of all the story that we had with Adam Page of his anxiety, his depression, his idea of not necessarily being good enough. All the way up until him, you know, getting the title from Omega and proving to himself and proving to the world that he is good enough and that he can pull this off. And then with his contenders, after the fact, he has just gone through and beaten the best people in the entire world. You know, he beat Danielson, he's beaten monsters like Archer, and he's going through and he is solidifying himself as in the world to be doing this. And then along comes CM Punk, and CM Punk is maybe the only guy in the company that can get bigger cheers than Adam Page. And you can tell that this bothers Hangman Adam Page, the character. And I think it's great because I feel like it's obviously probably channeling some neuroses that he has on a personal level, because how could you not feel threatened as just a human being? And also not feel a little bit pissed that you're this young up-and-comer and this is your time, and this old-timer comes in after 7 years, and he's getting bigger cheers than you because of who he was. And I think Page did a great job, and they're doing a great job with the story, because last week Punk wasn't there. Page has no problems coming out and talking shit. This week, what's he do? He gets so worked up whenever Punk, tells him that he's the champ. He just flips him off and just sticks his middle finger in his face and like walks away. And I don't know if I'm just reading too much into it or just like being overly analytical, but I love this story, and I'm very interested to see what happens to Double or Nothing.
Well, shit, I didn't even think of it that deep, but damn, you made me. I'm sitting over here like, shit, yeah, maybe does. Adam Page does have a little bit of a problem with Punk coming out, and obviously you have a huge problem with, and I agree with what Two Beers said about the facial expressions. When the match was going on, you could see Adam Page just, focusing on the match. When the finish happened, you could just see like a click happen. It was like, no, this motherfucker did not. And he just took off the headset and marched down to the ring. And that's when I said it on Twitter, I was like, last week we saw a heelish, quote unquote, Adam Page. I wanted to see if that was the way he was going to continue this week. It was now like they flipped it to where now Page, but Punk was the heel to Long Island with the Islanders jersey, and then with the match with John Silver. Then post-match, when he did, he kind of called Adam Page out and was just basically like, look, I know I'm going to be the champ. Can you look at yourself at the same way? It's an interesting way that Two Beer brought things up where I want to see if they go back to Page being insecure again, because that might, turn him towards the dark side, a.k.a. being a heel for this match at Double or Nothing.
Or being a drunk. Like, what if straight edge CM Punk sends him back into drinking? Right. So, that would be a story.
Right. So, I mean, there's opportunity to tell a bigger story if you wanted to, or you can just tell it straight out. This is about the AEW championship. It's kind of big enough now where you can have two big enough names where if you just wanted to roll the ball out and let them play, I think you can do that. But there's an opportunity to tell a bigger story if you want to.
That's what I was thinking, man. That would be cool, because I think that CM Punk's going to win, and I think that CM Punk should win, and I think that Adam Page has solidified himself. Adam Page has had a good run, if not an above-average run, as the AEW champion. I think that if straight edge CM Punk sends Adam Page into a spiral where he starts drinking again, because he hasn't been drinking ever since he befriended the Dark Order. I think that would be an edgy story. That would be a compelling story. That would be something
would lose, and then he would go to the bottle.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that would be a good story. I love this story. I love Page versus Punk. I like that I
love the fact that I don't know who's going to win.
I like that they're both mad enough at each other. They've created a story this far. Punk's promo this week was A+ stuff.
Yikes.
Just really good stuff. And I like that they seem so different. And I like that they're both being kind of heelish. Now, obviously, it was exacerbated this week because Punk was clearly playing the heel to the Long Island crowd, which is great. I mean, that's what pro wrestling should be.
Fuck you. No, fuck you.
Yeah. That's compelling wrestling. That's good. I think before we get away from this, we cannot undersell how good Tyrion Lannister looked against CM Punk. I'm sorry, John Silver looked against CM Punk. They look.
Nah, dog. Hang on. Hang on, Michael Wallace Seals. This is for you. Let me get this shit right. You ain't shit.
I've had that one in my back pocket since last night, man.
I bet you did.
A little sawed-off motherfucker.
Dude, come on, man.
I mean, I think he's cool.
John Silver can go.
Yes, he can. Of course he can go.
You can't realistically see him being even can you see him being the TNT champion?
No.
Nah.
There you go.
No. He does his job great. It was probably a thrill for him to be in there and have a good match against CM Punk
in his hometown, without question. Without question.
I'm just teasing him a little bit for being short. I used to call Undisputed Era the Lollipop Guild, man. It's just funny to me.
You bigger than that too. Come on now.
It's probably some stuff that's inside of me because my wife calls me short because I say I'm 6 foot. She's like, you're actually 5'11" and 3/4. She's like, you can't give yourself 6 foot.
She calls your ass out.
So I'm lashing out.
Yeah, pretty much. Go ahead, Two Beer. What's next?
John Silver is a meme template. Actually, it's pretty funny. There's a picture of him like explaining something to Sarah J. Who's the porn star? No, Anna J. Anna J.
He's heating up.
I'm dead.
So you can find it online. It's almost like the guy who's got his arm around that girl at the baseball game, but less creepy. It's really funny. So congrats on the meme template. But so then we had a quick little behind the scenes interview with Jamie Hayter. Essentially, they're kind of playing up like, hey, what happens if you guys have to face each other in the Owen Hart tournament? And we found out that that's not going to happen. Spoiler alert. But then we had Danhausen versus Tony Nese. So what's going on? Danhausen gets an entrance. Tony Nese does not. Tony Nese squashes Danhausen in less than 30 seconds. And Smart Mark Sterling brings up the fact that Danhausen got an entrance and Tony Nese did not, even though he just absolutely destroyed him. So he keeps destroying him. And then we get Hook's music come out, and Hook, clears the ring, and then we get Danhausen offering a handshake, and Hook accepts. So we officially have Hookhausen. Hookhausen. I just want to know what you guys think.
Look on Bill's face. I'll go first. I'm gonna let him mow on this. For what? Okay,
I don't have like a funny look on my face. I'm just thinking about it.
I know. That's what the.
But
funny
when you laugh like that, you make it seem to Zach, who isn't in the same room with us, that I'm laughing at him or something.
No,
I'm not laughing at him.
I don't think you're laughing at him.
I'm not laughing at anybody. I'm just thinking about it.
Okay, and as of previous conversations from weeks before, you were asking, what's the appeal with Hook? I don't get it. Both of them. Okay, so that's what I was getting ready to say. This seems like, to me, the ultimate, worst case scenario for Bill Vacey on AEW Dynamite. For me personally, if this is WWE, it's opposites attract. I get it. I don't necessarily think this is for me personally, but I get it. You have Danhausen, who is hot with fans. You have Hook with hot with fans. And neither one of them are going to do anything anytime soon. So why not do something together? Knock yourself out. For me, I don't necessarily, like I said, it's not going to be for me. I love the fact that Tony Nese squashed Danhausen. Don't even give him no hope. Just come out there, womp that Perfect. Check. From that point on, I could care less what happened. But they're going to make a lot of money on these Hookhausen shirts, I'll tell you that much.
There is nothing that tickled me more watching this version of AEW than having Tony Nese squash Danhausen.
Thank you.
Like, that is...
I laughed my ass off.
They really like... And I don't want to get too heady about this, but they really did flip the whole trope of the jobber not getting the entrance, but the other guy getting the entrance on its head. And they really... what's the word I'm looking for? They didn't circumvent, but they basically circumvented that...
Subverted expectations.
Subverted. Thank you very much. They subverted the expectation by having the guy who didn't get the entrance squash the guy that did. Loved it.
Yeah, that's what I was like, that's what you get.
Hook walking down there like fucking trenchcoat mafia. Like, I still don't get it. I know that the guy is strong. I really do. I get that the guy is strong, and I get that the guy has actual MMA chops. I get all that.
I don't think it's strong. It's his technique.
He did something on a Rampage one time where I was like, fuck, he is strong. He lifted somebody where whatever. Either way, this is a fine undercard story.
Perfect.
It is.
Knock yourself out.
It's not necessarily why I watch, and once it kind of wears out its welcome, once it has a couple weeks of going and it's there for the live crowd, I will probably fast forward through it. Probably.
Well,
this was a fine segment though. It was fine.
It was fine. It sets up a double nothing.
They're gonna sell a lot of Hookhausen t-shirts.
Oh, without question. And I think that's the play. I think that's more of the bigger issue than anything else. It has nothing to do with them winning the titles.
The same way that, like off topic, but Alexa Bliss comes back on Raw this week. It's total normal Alexa Bliss, but she's still got the doll. But it's because they're selling dolls.
Yeah.
So she's going to keep the doll,
Now,
so,
bitch, you can be the goddess, but you keeping Lily.
So let's, to use a Jason phrase, let's not get twisted. Both companies are just trying to get people over and trying to sell merch.
Amen.
So good for them.
Get your money.
God bless them.
I do like to, in my head, imagine like Danhausen and Hook being like kindergarten friends, and like they ended up having to like move to different like states in like 5th grade, and like one got really goth and the other one just went out and like ate Adderall and fucked bitches, like, and that was like, now they've come together later in life and realize they still have whatever it is in common.
It's like it never went away. It's like when you see your old friend and you're like, you just snap right back into where you guys were last time you saw each other. I really like that too, Zach.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
And I saw a fan video shot after the commercial had gone, and whenever Hookhausen left the ring and walked up the ramp, Hook walked toward the heel entrance exit, and Danhausen was like, no, he's like, you can come over here now, and he took him through. They went through the babyface. So that's pretty funny. So I love that they have the heel and the face entrances because you can kind of play on stories that way.
Another thing that I did see online is I guess this was after Dynamite went off the air. Hook choked out CM Punk.
And CM Punk sold until the arena left. So
right.
The video I saw had it in fast motion, and CM Punk laid there.
Stop playing.
No, I'm serious. While everybody left the arena, and then
right. Should we go? Is he okay?
And then they stretchered him out when there was like 150 people left. That's what I saw.
That's amazing.
Oh man, that's dedication.
Like
man.
CM Punk just laid there.
That's
and
great.
like two refs were like talking to him the whole time. So who knows what they were talking about? Probably like Ozark or something. But like, and then he waited until the place emptied out. Pretty funny.
Good shit, CM Punk. Right on.
Yep.
All right, Two Beer. What's next?
We had Wardlow being escorted down to the ring, and then we get, for me, the highlight of the show is a mocked-up Dark Side of the Ring video package. And if you've ever seen Dark Side of the Ring, Chris Jericho narrates them like he really does it. And so he starts narrating this thing, and he's like, oh, no way I'm doing this for MJF. And he's like, with our history, he's like, oh, wait, like, how much is he paying? He's like, all right. And then he just goes on and does it. And
amazing.
So it's just all about, like, Wardlow's a piece of shit. And, dude, they got Taz, like, selling it like he's just going to throw up, thinking about, like, how terrible of a person Wardlow is. And
yeah, and, the title under first of all, the title under Jake the Snake Roberts said the Snake Guy. It said Jake Roberts the Snake Guy, and the title under Taz said MJF's Consigliere.
Dude, I was like, man, this shit is
pretty
too
good
much.
stuff.
It's
man.
too much.
Oh, it was just perfect. But then MJF makes a total babyface entrance, just leans into the crowd, just wearing an Islanders jersey that says MJF, and I just love it so much because he called his shot a while back, and he said he was going to be like, you know, Brett in Toronto or in Calgary or whatever, and like Piper in Portland, and he 100% is. Like, in Long Island, he is the ultimate babyface. He can do no wrong. They're wearing the goddamn scarves. It's so fun just for one random night, like when he's in New York for this to happen. Like, it is something that is almost indescribable. I mean, I can use the words, but if you're not a wrestling fan or if you're unfamiliar with wrestling, like, just imagine having to, like, describe this segment to someone who doesn't watch wrestling. You'd sound like a crazy person.
Man, you have, like, it's like you jumped into my head when I was watching this and stole every thought. I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking how. And I've said before several times that the reason I love wrestling is that it's so fucking weird. And when I say weird, that might sound like it's a pejorative, but really what I mean is unique. Like, there is really nothing like it. And MJF in Long Island is unmissable TV. It is unmissable. Like, you have to watch it to believe it. But not only that, but you have to watch like the last several years of television to know what MJF is everywhere else, and then to see him, it's like you got taken up by a twister and you landed in Oz for a day. It was really, and the segment also just perfectly executed, absolutely perfectly executed, from Wardlow acting like he couldn't sign with the handcuffs on, and MJF letting him take it off, and Sean Spears giving a look, and he goes, "Hey, this is my town, Sean Spears." Oh, and not only the 10 lashes thing where he counts up to 9, and then he goes, Sean Spears, and Sean Spears is to 10. I did not see that coming while he was counting up at all.
Come on, you didn't see that coming?
Not while he was counting up, and then he goes, Sean Spears, and I was like, 10.
Come on. It was.
I mean, I watched it this morning.
I was watching that in slow motion when he got to 6 or 7. I'm like, oh, Sean Spears, nice.
You're smarter than me.
No, I'm not saying that.
But Wardlow acting like he can't get off the handcuffs, and the crowd just knowing what's coming when they take the handcuffs off. And then Wardlow acting like he's going to put the handcuffs back on. And right before the handcuffs go on, MJF goes, "That's why I thought, Wardlow, you're such a coward." He goes, boom, he just smashes that guy. It was just perfectly executed. And even the way that MJF calls Long Island the greatest place in the world, it's just perfect wrestling television. Jason, let me guess you hated it.
No, I didn't. I'm not going to say I hated it. I can't. I mean, come on. It's like one of my favorite wrestling matches of all time is Hulk Hogan versus The Rock at WrestleMania. It was in Toronto, and Hogan came in as NWO Hollywood Hogan. Rock is, Rock at this point, he's a big-time babyface, huge babyface. And then Toronto turned on him. And I'm watching this match, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? They're cheering for Hulk Hogan. And they ran with it and let it play itself out. It was one of the best matches, I think. I'll put that. It's not the best match of WrestleMania. There's way too many, but it's one of my favorites.
They flipped.
Right. In front of your very eyes.
Right. Rock decided to flip.
And it was perfect.
I want to know who called that match. There's so much talk in that Cody Broken Skull session about who calls the match,
Right.
And that's something that I never really think of as a non-wrestler. I was thinking of it a lot today while I was watching that, and I was looking on wrestling Twitter, and I was just thinking about all these fucking marks that were coming down about this fucking Darby Allin shit in front of Owen Hart's widow. And I was like, you guys don't know anything about wrestling. Like, you watch somebody like Cody Rhodes talk to Steve Austin, and I'm like, you guys just don't know anything about wrestling when you listen to these two experts talk about it. And I don't try to pretend that I know what goes on. But I will say that I do want to know who called that match. I want to know the oral history of that match.
Somehow
from
that
those
got called
two guys.
on the fly, because I just can't see.
Maybe not too much oral history. Like, hopefully Hogan didn't use any choice words.
Right, what'd you say? Oh, yeah, let me get this belt off and whoop your ass.
All right, reversal into a leg drop. Don't date my daughter.
MJF plays to the crowd. It's perfect. Wardlow, I was waiting to see. The one thing I didn't see, at least maybe I've turned it on to basketball and I didn't see Wardlow come out. I wanted to see if Long Island booed him on the way out.
They did.
Okay, perfect.
And the screen behind him said "Boo Wardlow."
Yeah.
I know Zach didn't hear us talk last week, and I think this is when I said it. I think. Sorry if I'm repeating this but I was like, inadvertently, Wardlow coming out in handcuffs with no music has turned into one of the best entrances in wrestling.
Outside of Long Island, they'll chant his name.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome, though. It looks badass.
Island, it was like Bizarro World. That's the word I'm coming up with it for that segment. It was straight up Bizarro World. No matter what MJF did, and I'm like, what? Come on now, Long Island. The Dark Side of the Ring portion of it was perfect. Absolutely perfect, because if you watch Dark Side of the Ring, Jericho narrates that shit, and then he stopped, like you said, Two Beard. He stopped. He was like, "What the fuck? How am I going to do this?" It was so fucking good. The only thing I have a problem with is the lashes. It feels like Cody Rhodes. It feels like they're playing into that. I don't think you need to do it, but they're going to do it. It's going to be fine. I'm not worried about that. Ultimately, this motherfucker was a home run. My only problem with that is that you have the last.
If MJF gets to cut a promo, I'll watch the segment.
Well,
you know what I mean?
But then Wardlow played his part too.
I hate liking him so much.
He had to be.
He's better than me, and I know it.
Wardlow had to take the Long Island whipping for one night, and he did it. And that's more so. I think I look at Wardlow more differently, because any other place in the world, like I said, he would be the babyface. He took the heel shit and just played off of it. Even when he was going after the MJF, MJF's trying to get out the ring, the crowd was still kind of like, don't fuck all that, man. Get out the ring. Get out the ring. Wardlow played his part well. MJF is incredible. I'll say this much. If 2024 is going to be the year of MJF's contract expiring.
That was another tremendous part where he brought up Cody Rhodes. Are they allowed to say Cody Rhodes if they don't call if Cody Rhodes is not on the television, because they were never allowed to call him Cody Rhodes on AEW.
Yeah, it was just Cody.
So that's the first time that the words Cody Rhodes have ever been said on AEW television. I think they always said Cody and Brandy Rhodes.
I don't even think they said their last name.
No, they said Brandy Rhodes.
Okay,
they did.
I'm pretty sure they said his name before, but at the same time, I think it was like his choice.
Okay, I'll say this, and I'll let you guys go on for this segment. For when he's talking about 2024 and TK saying I ain't supposed to talk about it, and we ain't talking about Cody Rhodes, and it was so MJF, and that's why I keep saying truck in 2024. I don't think MJF can go over to WWE and have those promos. He can have that limited work schedule, yeah.
I also don't think he's going to leave. I think that
he's smart enough to know that he's going to have both Brinks trucks back up and have Tony Khan bring up more money.
Yeah, but I think more than anything, it's just a good way to draw heat.
He can draw heat
and to cash a big paycheck.
He can draw heat just waking up. Okay, cashing the big paycheck, I think, is more so of the deal.
So yeah, essentially we get 10 lashes, a cage match with Shawn Spears with MJF as the special referee, and yeah, that will be interesting television. Oh, I also want to say I love that MJF was like, Wardlow, I have to break it down. You're kind of the worst.
Dude, it was like MJF night in that motherfucker. It was so ridiculously funny. I cannot help but laugh. I don't care how much he wrestles. I don't care. He's one of the best heels in wrestling, period.
What was next, Zach?
Totally. Video package for Samoa Joe, Jay Lethal. So that'll be happening sometime coming up. I don't know, pay-per-view, maybe not. Pay-per-view's getting stacked. We'll see.
No. Next week in the Owen tournament, it's Samoa Joe versus the Joker.
Who's the Joker? Who do you think the Joker is?
The Joker, well, that's what I was going to ask. So Sanjay Dutt and Lethal and Singh were making it sound like the Joker was somebody that they knew that somebody was going to join their faction, right? I mean, they were making it sound like they knew who the Joker was, right?
Oh, yeah. I forgot. I forgot all about that. That's interesting. Yeah, the Joker, I'm wondering if it's a new person or it could just be an existing person.
Right. I haven't really put a whole lot of thought into it. I was like,
there's two names off the jump.
Who?
Johnny Gargano, number one, or Cesaro, a.k.a.
I forgot about Cesaro.
I'm not even going to try his name in ROH.
Claudio Castagnoli.
Okay, so
I think it's his real name, right?
Yeah.
Okay, shit, there you go. I almost want to lean towards the latter just because Cesaro has ROH ties. Johnny Gargano versus Samoa Joe doesn't sound like a bad match. That's a throwback or a callback to NXT. So, I mean, either way, if it's one or the other, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I guess the next question is, is the Joker going to be signed?
Well, I can't see either one of those guys joining that faction. I mean, there's also Bray Wyatt.
No.
Yeah, I don't think that fits.
Well, I mean, I can't see any of those guys joining that faction. I mean, could it be an ROH guy? Could it be, what's his face? Can't remember his fucking name.
Bandito?
No.
I mean, could it be Jonathan Gresham?
Hell no. Oh, hell no. No. You're saving that. If I'm not mistaken, Gresham is hurt, number one, and number two, Gresham cut a whole promo on Supercard of Honor talking about Jay Lethal's not ready for the title shot because he wrestles with no honor. If he was going to do that...
Sounds like a swerve.
Okay. When on Impact with Honor No More, I was saying that Jonathan Gresham was going to go to Honor No More because he got jumped by,
Juice Robinson basically acted like he was retiring and swerved everybody and came out as a member of the Bullet Club.
Okay. I get what you're going with it. I'm just saying I'm going to play the connect the dots game for a little bit. Jonathan Gresham's off of my list of suspects.
All right, what was next?
I had a match with Jungle Boy and Ricky Starks. A ton of crowd heat, but it was well wrestled, and we had some fuckery with Shane Strickland coming out, and
what's a fuckery
that
though?
causes. Well, I'm just saying, like the finish was.
Yeah, he inadvertently.
Okay, that's what I was going to say.
Distracted the
fuckery
ref,
for
yeah.
me is like if you're on the same team and I distract. If Keith Lee was in that match and Swerve distracted the ref, that to me is fuckery. Swerve came out to say, "Hey, shit's going on." The referee turns and looks, and the next thing you know, you have a pin in the ring that doesn't matter anymore because the referee's not paying attention.
I love the specificity involved in your definition of fuckery. Mine's just whenever anything happens that is outside of the the traditional wrestling match. So,
Which is totally fair.
It does, cause some distraction from the ref. That kind of like classic infuriating distraction where the babyface is telling the ref to look at the bad thing that's happening, and the ref is like, "I'm
Jungle
not doing
Boy
that.
has
You're the one that keeps talking."
Right. Jungle Boy has gives Ricky Starks pin for a 10 count, and he's like, "What the fuck?"
What do you think? Like, I just would love to be in those situations because I just wonder what they're actually saying to each other sometimes. And it's like, I just imagine the ref being like, "I'm going to keep looking at you and keep talking to you until you walk away." Like,
I was about to say,
you need to walk away in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, I was about to say, Ricky Starks is still pinned. Don't worry about it. You got like a 5-6 count. You hear the crowd, right? You're good. Don't worry about it. Okay, now go. That's what I imagine what that conversation is like. The only thing that I would say about, I did like this match. The finish after the pin is done or whatever, you see Luchasaurus and Christian come out. Christian gives a little bump to Swerve, was like, "Okay, motherfucker, you cost us this match." And then after it all cleared, Christian came up to Jungle Boy, and this is where I think we planted some seeds for the Christian heel turn that we all been talking about for it feels like the last year. Sooner or later, Christian is going to get to the point where it's like, I can't keep consoling you after an L.
There was definitely foreshadowing there, no doubt.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because you saw Christian, raise his arm up real high and, pat Jungle Boy in the back and was like, "It's okay, buddy."
It was well done. I thought we were seeing the heel turn right there.
I saw the same thing.
He waited to see until Luchasaurus was turned the other way, and he was like, "All right, here I come."
"You okay, buddy?" And he patted him on his back and hugged him. And I was like, "Okay,
well done. Make me wake. Make me wake."
You see where that angle, that camera angle is? When they actually do it, it will be that same camera angle. It will be pretty similar to it. Another Jungle Boy loss, probably a title loss, or maybe the rematch to try to get the titles back. And that's where you see Christian Cage turn on Jungle Boy, and Jungle Boy is on the singles route.
Yeah, I love the foreshadowing. Like, sometimes I think most of the time they do a great job of telling long stories and striking when the iron's hot, except in the case of Julia Hart, because I didn't get a chance to talk about that last week.
Go ahead, talk about it.
That should have just happened last week. And then this week, nothing happened with it. So, now it's everybody was so ready to see her use that chair last week, and now nothing's happened this week at all. I don't know, maybe something happened.
Do they have
Friday.
a double or nothing match announced yet? I guess that's my next question. I didn't think so. Okay, so
I don't think so. Yeah, they should have just had her swing that chair.
At the very least, they should just announce a double or nothing match and have either the tag team or, like you said, a 6-man tag with Julia Hart in the Varsity Blondes and fill in the blanks corner. Have Julia Hart flip at that point. I agree with you last week. I agree with you. I thought it should have happened last week. I thought it was really going to happen last week, and then for whatever reason, Julia Hart gains a conscience and shit. How you gain a conscience, bitch? Just hit this motherfucker. Come on.
All right, so we had Jericho Appreciation Society coming in for, I don't know, what this was even. It was a celebration of something. I think it was a celebration because of them just kicking ass. And
Yeah,
kicking
basically.
other people's ass.
We celebrate
But,
why? Because we can.
Man, I don't know. I kind of want to hear what Bill has to say about Matt Menard's speech. He's like, you want to know what turns me on? You want to know what makes Daddy Magic nipples hard?
I think I was about to say, I think that promo finally, for me, I can start to tell the two guys apart. Angelo was the guy that started the whole promo, and then Matt was the guy who was just like, you know what I make my nipple? No, I don't want to know what it makes. No. I think I finally got it. I can start to tell these two jokers apart. Go ahead, Bill.
I mean, like, what do you want me to say? I told you I hated that guy. I hate the guy. You know what? You know what bothers me the most about that guy is that he does this voice that I've heard guys do, and it's just a voice that a non-funny person does to make themselves sound funny. It's like when somebody, like, you know, it's like in the late 90s when, like, guys were still talking like Austin Powers, or not Austin Powers, like Ace Ventura. It's like he's just doing this voice that non-funny people do, that non-clever people do, and they think it's funny. It might make their friends laugh. It might make their fucking sister laugh or something. It's not. It doesn't make me laugh. It's so fucking obnoxious. It's go away, Heat. Like, I don't even hate him. I don't even want to see his ass get beat. I just want to see him go away. And I don't want anybody to lose their job. I just want him to lose his job.
Wow.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm sure he's fine.
I'll say this.
I take it differently. I see him as being self-aware and, like, very, like, doing, like, I feel like that whole bit is, like, ironic as hell. Like, I don't think he's sincere a single moment that he's on camera. I imagine in my head canon is that he's, like, just this amazingly chill dude in real life, and that he just has this very wacky character. I could be wrong. I have no idea who he is in real life.
Yeah, or you could be right, and I could just be the sourpuss misanthrope that doesn't like it. But I really don't like it. I really don't like it.
It's the Heat. I get it.
Everybody else in that faction, I'm pretty down with. In fact, I thought that Jake Hager's outfit this week was fucking unbelievable, man.
I'm like, okay.
He was wearing boat shoes, man. He was not.
Like, I know you guys dressed up for this occasion. I ain't dressing up for shit.
I've been a swagger mark from way back there.
I mean to tell you.
This was not my favorite segment, though. I thought bringing out, I love Blackpool Combat Club.
You've been calling it. You called it last week.
I did want them to do something more meaningful, and
you called it last week.
I just thought that
you said this was the opportunity to get them over. Not over, but have them do something more meaningful.
Here's my problem with it, though. My problem with it is that it seemed like the segment was designed to get to the point where Eddie Kingston came back. You know, so you hear John Moxley's music, you hear Bryan Danielson's music, all well and good. Wheeler Yuta comes out, Regal comes out, all well and good. And then you have LAX and Kingston staying behind him. Kingston's music never played. And it seemed like the crowd had wasted their pops on Danielson and Moxley instead of getting that pop for Kingston. Now, that's certainly none of the performer's fault. I just think it was kind of a convoluted way to get to Kingston coming in there and beating up Jericho. And then the Jericho Appreciation Society, they retreated. Like, it was basically, 30 seconds of action? Maybe something like that. That's my only problem with it. And that's really nitpicky. Did I pop when Moxley's music played? I was like, oh, fuck yeah, here we go. Now I want to see this. And also, when Wheeler Yuta goes to fight in the best Battle of the Super Juniors next week, or he's probably already there right now.
Yeah, I was about to say he needs to be flying over.
That will even up the odds, and having that 5-on-5 match.
Regal is the fifth guy.
No, LAX, Kingston, Danielson, and Moxley.
I'm sorry.
And then you have 5-on-5. But those guys should fucking smoke. Should fucking smoke the Jericho Appreciation Society.
They better.
It should be a 2-minute thing.
They better.
I did like seeing Regal throw a punch.
Blood and Guts, yeah, I have thought about that, and I'm not sure.
Cool. Yeah, I'm down with that.
Okay,
That's cool.
Okay, then here's my question. Obviously you all want to see that, is that going to be on Double or Nothing?
Yes.
I say, no, dude, come on, man.
No.
You're already talking
Too long.
about this. Yeah, thank you, Two Beer. You're already saying that 3 hours is your max. You know Double or Nothing is going to be
3
4
hours is my WWE shitty pay-per-view in the middle of the fucking year max. That's not my, now.
You ready to go 4 hours?
I can
I'll
go.
go 7.
I can go 4 hours. The last AEW one was 4 hours and 55 minutes or something. That's way too long.
If we put Blood and Guts on this Double or Nothing pay-per-view, we're going towards that 4:55 mark you're talking about. You know that, right?
I think it's tough to keep Jericho, Moxley, and Danielson off of a paid a pay-per-view.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
So they might do just a 5-man.
I want to hear you crying.
They might just lead into Blood and Guts then, because Blood and Guts is too long for this stacked pay-per-view. But they might just do a 5-man and then keep it short, do some bullshit, and then.
did I
do
miss
Blood and
something?
Guts
How is
for
the
Dynamite.
pay-per-view stacked already? Like, how many matches
Oh,
have they
I mean,
announced?
Just think about the matches that are being built.
For sure, you
and
have
there's
both
a
women's
ton.
and men's title matches on deck. They're already announced. You know what that's going to be. You know you got MJF and I'm sorry, not MJF and Wardlow, but Wardlow versus Shawn Spears, whipping, blah blah blah. There's going to have to
Hardys and Young Bucks.
There's going to have to. I was going to say a title match has to happen at some point, tag team wise. You know,
I think it'll be a 3-way.
Okay, they kind of
I'm thinking-
teased it a little bit. If you wanted to go that far with Swerve and Keith Lee, you had shit. I can't even think of the other two teams, but you had a triple threat right there.
Jurassic Express and
Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your triple threat if you wanted to do that. On a separate...
So all the black guys have to be in a triple threat with a
Wait.
dinosaur and a guy named Boy, huh?
Another joke for another time.
No, that's a joke for right now.
Hardys, Young
And his
Bucks.
first name's Jungle.
You ain't shit. Hardys, Bucks. Owen, men's winner. Owen, women's winner.
You're right.
So, I mean,
Okay,
at a
all right.
certain point,
Yeah.
you're going to have to make a decision. Are we going to put this match on? Because if you do it, it's got to be at least
Okay.
20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, you're right. That seems crazy to me that this is what they're going towards, but you're right. Can't argue with it.
Okay, if you're going to...
I said you're right.
Okay.
It's like talking to my wife. It's like I said you're right. Like, stop fucking telling me why you're right. I want to
just
stop
trying to go
talking
to
about
bed.
it. I'm just trying to go to bed. I'm trying to watch the fucking Grizzlies game. Shut the fuck up.
Fuck you. Go ahead, Two Beer.
I love you. I'm
2
sorry.
minutes in the
Right.
fourth quarter. Like, if it was third quarter, like, I'd give you 15 minutes.
There's
But
only
the first-
Yeah, well, I
2
know
minutes
the last 6 minutes of an NBA game can last 45 minutes. It's like, oh god.
I don't want to watch all 45. Woman, shut the fuck up.
Like, and I know this conversation's been happening for 7 years.
Oh, I remember my mom used to yell at my dad. My dad used to go, Janine, there's only 3 minutes left. And Mom used to go, I know how long the 3 minutes in the end of a basketball game can go. They just foul and foul and foul. And Dad's like, oh, fuck, she got me there.
Bring Shaq to the line. Fuck that. We going to have him shooting 62%.
Anyway, what was next?
All right, we had Bill's favorite match of the night, Jamie Hayter versus Tony Storm. And we all know why we wanted to see this so bad. And
This is
it
Black Man
delivered
special.
in a variety of ways, and it was a good match. But both women looked really good. I mean, like, from a technical wrestling standpoint, I'm trying to, like, say things without saying things here. But yeah, I mean, Tony Storm wins, moves on, and so we don't have the thing happening where Britt might face Hayter. But I do think it's funny that they wasted no time in giving us this match. They knew we wanted it, and as Excalibur says, you got to give the people what they want.
No, damn that, man. I want to see this happen later, man. Fuck.
I'll say this: How did WWE fuck up on Toni Storm?
Hello.
Just unbelievable.
Hello.
What?
They do it all the time.
I know, but like she is such a sure thing.
Here's my question. I was thinking about this today on the way over here, and I was
such a sure thing.
NXT came into my head. Where's Io Shirai?
I don't know.
No idea.
Okay, kind of my point. If you fuck up, how you fuck up Io Shirai, it should be another question. There are so many people that are come on, Bill. You can roll your eyes all you want to.
Don't
roll your eyes all you want to.
Don't make me say what I have to say.
Say it.
There is lots of precedent for wrestling promoters and Vince McMahon owned promotions specifically fucking up wrestlers, women wrestlers that were not born in the U.S., that are not white. But with all the women wrestlers, all the white women wrestlers that they have pushed to the moon that aren't very good, that are just okay, they're going to fuck up Toni Storm? That just doesn't make any sense. She's white. She's hot. That doesn't make any sense for Vince to fuck that up. You tell me Vince fucks Io Shirai up? You tell me Vince fucks Naomi up? You tell me Vince has Asuka out there just screaming her ass off at every single promo looking like a fool rather than looking at like the badass wrestler that she is? That makes sense to me. Toni Storm doesn't make any sense to me. She's 26 years old. She's blonde. She's beautiful. And she can fucking wrestle. That blows me away.
So,
and that is not my take. I mean, I'm not saying that Io Shirai doesn't rule. I love Io Shirai. I just want to put this out there. I am not saying that Toni Storm is better than Io Shirai. What I'm saying is Toni Storm is a star, and it's weird that they fucked her up. Or they fucked up on signing her or keeping her around or pushing her to the fucking moon.
Tubular, I expect you to at least say what I'm going to say, so I'm going to let you go first.
I don't know. I agree with Bill. I think Toni Storm has the potential to be top 5 women wrestler in the world. She just has a unique chemistry with fans that is very difficult to achieve, and she does so like organically, and she's marketable in like all the right ways. And I mean, she is like, I think she doesn't like fly around like Io Shirai, but her and Io Shirai have had some of the best women's matches I've ever seen together.
I guess here's the question. Bill asked it, so I'll just ask it to you. How does Toni Storm get fucked over in WWE?
Oh, because they're just terrible at recognizing and making stars. They're just terrible at it. Like, if they were as bad at my job as they are at theirs, like, I'd be out of a job, but somehow they are the richest they've ever been. This is why everything in our system is broken. It's crazy. They're really, really, really bad at what they do. Like, really bad.
Okay.
Scared money don't make money.
Trust me, they're not scared by any stretch of the imagination. Toni Storm just doesn't fit their profile. Ultimately. Look, not the physical profile. Okay, I give you that. Okay? A lot of people fit their physical profile. At a certain point, this being sports entertainment, they have to be able to talk. They have to be able to, build a program where Ronda Rousey can't put up her side of the fucking fence. So, Toni Storm, you're going to have to carry this fucking, feud on both sides of the fence. I'm pretty sure they just didn't have confidence in Toni Storm for their system, For AEW, it makes all the sense in the world. They actually put wrestling somewhat at the forefront. They have a little bit of I guess what's the word I'm looking for? Side story or whatever the case may be, a little angle here or there. But for the most part, when the women come out, they wrestle. Serena Deeb and Thunder Rosa got a little pub last week. I like their promo. I think that would be something going forward. Toni Storm, I think, is going to be someone that's going to be going deep into the tournament. And then if she wins it, then you can put her front forward. For Toni Storm, when I'm watching her getting pies to the face, that to me is the signal where she's in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring up Ronda Rousey in this conversation because you're like, why they need to have somebody to have carry Ronda Rousey's side of the feud. It's like, well, isn't that's kind of backwards though, because Ronda Rousey's got the belt. You know what sucks about Ronda Rousey having the belt is that all you do when you have a belt is go out there and cut promos, and she's the worst promo that there is. And if you say that Toni Storm, when she's taking pies in the face, that's like saying the WWE puts performers in a situation to fail and then get mad at them when they fail.
Is that not the case?
No, that is the case.
Okay.
So we're all saying the same thing?
Ultimately, yes.
100%.
All right.
And there is only one kind of pie that I want to see Toni Storm receive, and it ain't to the face.
This motherfucker here.
Anyway, let's move on.
I missed you too, Beer.
I mean, I should probably sell that harder. Like, I'm laughing, but I'm just laughing on the end. Like, right when you said only one pie, and I was like, God.
That's my dog. That's my dog.
We need to put an NC-17 rating on this thing before we start fucking podcasting.
It's explicit. That's all they have. There's nothing else. Check the box. Is it explicit? Hell yeah, it is.
All right. What was next?
All right. Speaking of explicit, we have Darby Allin versus Jeff Hardy. And, yeah, this is what you thought it was going to be, 100%. You have the older generation Jeff Hardy Daredevil versus the new generation Daredevil Darby Allin, and absolutely bonkers. Some really insane spots in this match. And, you know, we knew Darby was going to do something absolutely crazy, and he delivered. I mean, jumping off of a very tall ladder that was inside the ring onto Jeff Hardy, who was standing in front of 8 chairs lined up. And Jeff, like, I mean, you want to talk about whisper in the wind. Like, he barely touched him. Darby essentially just jumped like 20 goddamn feet and landed on 8 steel chairs. And where we had, like, Hardy doing a senton off of the top rope onto some steel steps that were on the floor.
And he missed. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, come on, man. Damn.
Don't forget about the coffin drop onto the apron.
Oh, yeah. I almost did because I've seen him do that a few times. But it's still probably like...
It knocked the wind out of him this time, though. He was seriously sucking air.
Yeah, I was about to say,
he was not selling it. He was sucking air.
Ugh. God. Yeah. It was what we thought, but it was surprising. The finish, we had Allen do a coffin drop, and then I like that it's called him Allen. I thought of it as his first name. It'd be really funny. But then Jeff Hardy does a crucifix pin after the coffin drop and sneaks a win. So Hardy's going in the finals. Jeff Hardy looks like he is, man.
Motivated? He looks fucking motivated, man. He took his shirt off at the end. He looks fucking great. There's been times where he looks flabby. Like, he looks good.
No, I'm like, his body and stuff like looks good. I'm just saying, like, he looks like he is in pain, but he's not stopping himself from doing all of the stuff. That's what I mean. Right. No.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mistook what I thought you were going to say. I made a lot of fun of this promo last week.
Oh, yeah.
So I have it on my Bluetooth, but I have Zach on Bluetooth, which is why it's not playing as loud. But I had a lot of fun with the promo that Darby Allin and Sting cut last week for this match. I thought it was stupid. I thought it was so underplayed. Promo of the year. It will be my promo of the year no matter what. So I can play it over and over and over again.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
The vignette that happened at the beginning, it happened right after the Adam Cole Dax Harwood match this week, should have been what they played last week. It was fucking awesome. Like, it was both of them fired up. It was like, yeah, fuck yeah, we're going to make this a no holds barred or anything goes or whatever they called it. It was like, oh, well, now I'm fired up for this match. Why didn't you guys do that last week instead of having Darby basically fall asleep while cutting his promo? And Sting's having a senior moment. He's like, oh yeah, I guess it's gonna be a special night. Yeah, special night. Like fucking
stop.
My
That's not
8-year-old grandma
Dude,
fucking
that's
cooking toast over and over again.
We got a problem.
That's my promo of the year.
We're taking your beef for
We're gonna call it the Darby Allin promo of the year. The Darby Allin Sting promo of the year.
Oh no, it's still Roman Reigns promo of the year.
Listen, you just got me high. Now I'm on fire. Leave me the fuck alone.
I love it. It's always my fault.
This match ruled. This is always my dichotomy with Darby Allin. I think that he has no charisma on the mic. I think he has no charisma in vignettes. And then when he gets in the ring, he is fucking awesome. His suicide dive is the best in the biz. It looked like he was shot out of a cannon when he suicide dived Jeff Hardy right at the beginning of the match. This match started about 14 minutes before 9 o'clock Central Time, and they used every single second of it to give us a match that they certainly, you could tell they wanted to give. They were like, we want the audience to have fun. And this was a fun match with an absolutely insane Darby Allin spot. That spot is one of the craziest spots, and they put it on free TV or on cable TV. You did, like, they didn't make you buy a pay-per-view for it. I was like, just an unbelievable spot. And I also want to say this, and we can get into this a little bit. You know what? We'll get into it a little bit later. Jason, your thoughts on the match?
I almost wanted to say it was reckless to a certain degree.
Oh yeah. It was.
I was like, dude, come on. And it's not even about what it was on, because I know there's people, you brought up free TV. I've seen people like, this should have been on a pay-per-view. I don't give a fuck where this was. That's the fact that it was on free TV, to me, is a bonus. If you're going to complain about this on being on free TV, blows my fucking goddamn mind.
Can I cut you off for just a second?
Please.
People that worry about the ratings of the wrestling shows that
ratings
they like,
don't mean shit.
They don't mean shit to you as a fan, or to me as a fan, or to them as a fan. If they want to put this on free TV, enjoy it, because Tony Khan's a billionaire. What if Tony Khan might have lost $400,000 on Dynamite? I don't give a fuck, because I got it for free, and it fucking ruled.
It was so good that I was like, well, I shouldn't say so good. It was good to point where
it was a big old spot fest.
And it was. And I was.
And sometimes big old spot fests are great.
And I was cringy at multiple points. And that's the only problem I have with it. I get it. I know this is the way this match is supposed to go. As soon as Darby Allin said, let's make this a no-holds-barred match, I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, God. You going to let these two jokers go out on
last week.
You going to let these two jokers go out on national TV?
Should have done last week.
They should have done it last week. I agree. Okay, I will give you that. But they didn't. They built up to it. Next thing you know, I'm like, please, God, the whole right through. I'm like, don't let this happen. And then they announced it. I'm like, okay, so now what the fuck they're going to do?
So
you can't have Darby Allin jumping off on some 20 feet. It was easy 20 feet.
I don't want to get hyperbolic about it. But when you think about the craziest spots of all time, and I guess I'm talking to mainstream wrestling. Like, I know that there's people that can probably bring up a bunch of weird indies where guys were thrown off cranes and there's the spot where what's his name? New Jack throws the dude off before the dude's ready, and he knew he was doing it before the dude was ready. But in mainstream wrestling, okay,
there's only one.
There's only one that I can think of that's crazier than that.
Yeah.
And it's Mankind Taker.
Easily.
Zach, is there one that we're missing?
I mean, Mankind Taker was absolutely nuts. That's the craziest spot.
Orton throwing Mankind through. I'm sorry, Edge throwing Mankind through a flaming table. I think that okay. That's what I'm saying. I mean,
you can see that at local shows.
I'm reaching.
I think the only thing that would compare would be like a Shane McMahon bump.
Okay.
That's
craziest Shane McMahon bump we've seen?
Well, the craziest Shane McMahon bump we've seen is when he jumped off the cell to try to elbow drop Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn pulled Kevin Owens out of the way. That's the craziest one I've seen. That's as far as I'm concerned. There was the one where Steve Blackman followed him up in the old days and hit him with the kendo stick,
and he fell off. Yeah,
he fell backwards into the dumpster.
Yeah,
but that was a big old.
Yeah, that's not good enough.
No, that was like I took my little to the jump around gym the other day. It was like, you could do that here.
You got that shit.
Shane could do that here.
No problem. I would still have to say Mankind getting thrown off the top of the cell.
But this is my point. Is that the second craziest spot we've ever seen in mainstream wrestling?
Dude, when Darby Allin got up on top of that ladder, I was like, dude, I'm totally not comfortable with this. I'm not. It wasn't like I was looking away. I was just like, this could go so south.
If I would have been watching it live, I probably would have had the same.
No, I watched it live. It was.
I know
it was horrible.
I know,
to watch.
but I saw. I didn't see any spoilers on who won, so I was genuinely surprised at the ending. But I did see some stuff on Twitter that was like, from a bunch of AEW marks, that was like match of the year. Look at these motherfuckers! Like, that's the spot of the decade, shit like that. And I was like, well, what's he do? He could have fucking killed himself. And Hardy.
Okay, and that's all I'm saying. It was a good match. I'm assuming both guys walked out okay. It was just too cringy. GCW
Zach,
is cringy for me in a different way.
Zach,
this
did
was
you ever
cringy
cringe?
where I was like, ugh.
Did I cringe during this match?
Yeah. Did you watch it live?
I didn't watch it live. I mean, I watched it last night, but it wasn't live. I have seen on Friends of BFR that Darby had done a crazy spot, but I knew he was going to. But yeah, I mean, I definitely grimaced. I was like, ooh. I'm trying to think. I feel like I've been more worried in other ladder matches. I don't know if it was like that Young Bucks, Pentagon Phoenix, the De Los Muertos or whatever.
Yeah, there was some.
That was a crazy, crazy match. But yeah, I mean, regardless, like, how you qualify it, that's one of the craziest spots.
Yeah, that's like just jackass level stuff.
To the point where I'm just like, come on now. Let's look at big picture. I get it. This is your dream match, but let's save a little bit for something down the line.
Hey, you guys ever feel like elbow dropping a straw man? Because I'm about to bring up a straw man here, because I saw it on Twitter, and there were lots of people that thought that spot was disrespectful to Owen Hart's widow, because Owen Hart's widow was in the audience, and they said that looked a little too close to somebody falling to their death. Did you guys see any of these tweets? Jason took off his headphones. He's leaving. He's offended that I brought up Owen Hart's widow. He thinks that private family should say private. Zach, do you have any thoughts about this?
I think that is some of the weakest shit I ever heard. Like, that is just...
Dude, there were tweets out there with thousands of likes saying this stuff.
There are thousands of just really weak-minded people out there. I mean, dude, like, give me a break. Like,
you know what the worst thing about it is?
Nothing better to do than to, like, just manufacture outrage. That's all. Like, you got nothing better to do. It doesn't even affect you. You're just gonna manufacture outrage. Like, yeah, I can't stand it.
Honestly,
that treats Owen Hart's widow like such a child. Like she doesn't know what wrestling is. Like she didn't know when she went to the show. She was like, "Oh my God, they're jumping off ladders." She's a Hart.
It might be, it might be, something that's par for the course. I mean, like I said, don't get me wrong. I didn't necessarily want to see Darby Allin jump off the top of that ladder, but I wasn't even thinking about Martha Hart at that point.
No, I
was
wasn't
thinking
either.
about those two guys in that moment.
Yeah.
I don't even know. God bless you if you're trying to connect those dots. Those dots don't even connect. That doesn't even make sense. You're trying to be.
She's a Hart.
She should know what the fucking deal is.
You don't think she's ever seen the Hardys wrestle? They probably wrestled Owen. Actually, they probably did. It was 99. They probably were in some sort of match with him.
Somewhere those two interchange.
He died in 99, right?
I think it was
Here's the
before
thing.
that.
It's like if she was.
Oh,
If she
Zach.
was upset,
Zach was
like,
Zach
whatever,
was there
like,
the night after. It was 99, right, Zach?
Yeah, I was. I think I just turned like 14. Yeah.
Oh man, just jerking off 6 times a day, as opposed to your usual 3 times a day that you do now.
Yeah, that's true. That's pretty accurate. But yeah, I mean, if Martha Hart wants to be upset, like she could be, but there was no signs that she
Take me
was.
out, Coach.
Just people manufacturing outrage on her behalf because they want to be, I don't get it.
They were like, "What?
There's a lot of shit.
What a tribute to Owen Hart, almost dying while flying to the ground." 1,012 likes,
Yeah, ain't the same thing. Don't even start. Okay.
and they're all like,
There's
WWE _ WWF
Yeah, exactly.
_ nerd. It's like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Let's say, at least be somewhat objective for Christ's sake. I mean, God damn, if you're gonna go out like that, and ultimately, I think that's what it is. It's about the intention. They want to have people blow their shit up. God bless you for it. I ain't got time for no shit like that. What I say is what I say on here, on Twitter, whatever the case may be, and I'm not doing it for attention. It's just the way I feel. That shit right there, that sounds like some attention grabbing motherfuckers that need a hug, a big ass hug, or playing grass.
Yeah, I barely get on Twitter anymore. Like, it's like there's so many people out there that just need to either like touch grass or touch ass. Just get out there and see the real world. Just like
I'm about to say, the way these motherfuckers talking, they ain't touching much ass, so they gonna roll around that grass.
enjoy some consensual sex with whatever gender type that you appreciate. Like, just get out there and just experience something besides the fake and phony outrage and the fake and phony people. What
you gonna say to this chick? Do you like Alexa Bliss? Who the fuck is that?
Speaking of consensual sex, the Young Bucks come out with the Undisputed Elite and stare down the Hardys. It looks like we're going towards a Bucks versus Hardys match. I fully expect this match to be a 5-star classic, and if you don't, then you haven't been listening to Zach for the last 2 years, because he's basically brought me around to his side. They never have a terrible match. I guess neither do Penta and Phoenix, but still, the Young Bucks are, pardon the pun, an elite tag team for all time.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, I've been wrong before, and I'll be wrong again.
Look, he said an elite tag team.
Well, I didn't say they were the best of all time,
Okay,
but I don't think that. I think they're in the conversation, though, is what I'm saying.
Look,
and so if Zach has them as his guys,
the last time I checked,
that's
the
what means to
Briscoes
say they're in the conversation.
The Briscoes won the Impact Tag titles over the weekend. I'm trying to think of what move they used. Oh, wait. It was the Doomsday device. Who uses that? Oh, yeah. The Road Warriors. Enough said.
So you're saying the Road Warriors are the best tag team of all time?
GOAT.
Okay, that's fine. They're in the conversation also.
They're in the conversation too.
Nobody would laugh at you for saying that.
I'm not asking you to laugh at me for it.
Now, they laugh at you when you say Right to Censor is your favorite tag team, your favorite faction of all time, but they don't understand that what was going on in the country at the time. And the Right to Censor was just a response to what was going into the country with, Bob Dole and post-Bob Dole Republicans. But
WWE type shit. But go ahead.
like, bro, just because you can't understand it doesn't mean it doesn't make sense. You just can't comprehend it, bro. Like,
Young Bucks, definitely better than the Hardys.
Ooh, considering that, considering the Hardys are somebody that the Bucks look up to, that's a tall response.
But at the same time, the Bucks don't exist without the Hardys in the same way. None of them exist without the Rock and Roll Express.
Yeah, without question, it all goes downhill. I'll just say this: if it happens, it should be a good match. It already happened before with ladder match, the whole shebang. This match is just going to be a little different, not too crazy, but a little different, and it should be good. And that's more so to my point. There's no way in the world you could do blood and guts on Double or Nothing without having this be in 5 hours.
But that match is happening, and we're all looking forward to it. Now, we've been doing this podcast for 1 hour and 35 minutes or something, and we have spent almost half as much time talking about Dynamite as Dynamite lasted. So,
go ahead.
What we're going to do is move on to the 3 count.
You act like we talk about Dynamite from the start, but go ahead.
All right, so the 3 count is for New Japan heads, or if you're looking to get into New Japan and you're just wanting some shoot drama that's happening. Kota Ibushi, who is one of the biggest stars in New Japan wrestling, that's not out of the realm at all. He's a former champion. He was tag champion.
Japanese wrestling, even. Just all of Japan.
The first United, he was the first United champion. I mean,
he won lots of tag titles in the Golden Lovers with Kenny Omega. He is only 40. He looks like a 17-year-old girl.
Jesus Christ, he's 40.
He's an unbelievable technician. Some of my favorite New Japan matches of all time. He has been hurt. He got hurt kind of famously. If you're a loyal listener to the podcast, you remember that he got hurt in the G1 final against Okada. He was trying to do
Phoenix Splash.
Trying to do a Phoenix Splash, landed on his shoulder the wrong way. His shoulder was all fucked up. Terrible end to a great tournament. G1, as we always say, is the
terrible end to a great match.
Terrible into a great match. I mean, it was, 25 minutes into the match? Mm-hmm. It was like at the end. It was supposed to be one of the biggest moves.
God damn it.
Very disappointing. As disappointing as it can get, really, in wrestling. Like, I know we were just talking about Owen Hart, but I'm saying in terms of, like, a match, like an injury ending something great, that was it. Like, even Austin pinned Owen after he broke his neck. But he came out. He's been hurt for a while. And he had like a tweet storm the other day talking about how New Japan management has sexually harassed him. Not sure what his sexual orientation is or what he considers his gender to be. I don't know. I don't know. But he is a very beautiful looking man.
Without question.
Not saying that makes you more or less likely to be sexually harassed. I'm just saying.
I'm sure it's going to be more so on both sides.
He was asking for it, bro. He was asking for it. You see those pictures of those clothes he wears outside the ring, bro? He was asking for it.
Thank you, Zach, for saying what I couldn't say. But, man, he looks so good. Sorry, dude.
Here's why me wanting to have sex with Kota Ibushi not gay. All right, I'm just gonna lay it out there. I have so much testosterone, bro. So much testosterone that like all other dudes are just like chicks to me. It's not gay.
He proved it to me. He proved to me how much testosterone he had.
That's amazingly funny.
So what I was saying was, Ibushi had a tweet storm where he blamed them on sexual harassment. He said they were unsafe working conditions. He said they asked him back to wrestle before he was ready, but after he told him he was ready, and then he pulled back himself. He also said that the Yakuza has their fingers in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and that the Yakuza gets to approve everything. I have to go get my charger. I'll let you guys discuss.
Tuber, you actually sent me this link, so I mean, I'll let you take the piggyback on this from this point forward. You sent it to me. What do you think?
I mean, it's pretty wild. obviously he's unhappy, like regardless of the validity of like any of that. Like we don't know anything except the Yakuza stuff. Certainly not out of the realm of possibility. There's a lot of history with the Yakuza and like Japanese like fighting art and stuff like that. They're heavy into Pride, and a lot of other Japanese promotions. Like you can just Google it and it's there. But yeah. So outside of the validity of the stuff, it is interesting. He's obviously unhappy. We know Kota Ibushi's history is he's always shunned contracts. And remember, back in the time of the Mae Young, we were talking about, man, it's so crazy that Ibushi could be the top guy in any promotion, but he just won't sign a contract, so nobody wants to give him the belt and be a top guy. But he's one of the best wrestlers in the world. He's one of the best wrestlers in history. So it's just absolutely bonkers. So obviously the dude's unhappy. It is interesting, though, because if he were to get out of his contract, if he were released, it's not like, he could just go to like AEW.
Right.
Because AEW and New Japan are business partners now. And no matter how close he is with Kenny or how good of a wrestler he is, like them having a partnership with New Japan as a whole is way bigger than just one wrestler. So there's that aspect. Could he go to DDT? Would DDT want to mess with him now, or is he a liability? Or does he just have roots there and they're like, okay, because they know that he won't get all upset and they won't put him in a position to where he would do something like this. I don't know. There's a lot of layers here, but it is definitely the most interesting thing to happen all week because it's real deal shoot stuff. And it's also Japanese culture. So like, it's foreign to me, literally. But I'm very intrigued, very interested by it.
There's certain things where you touched on like the major points, but there's like Kota Ibushi's claiming that some of his merch money was taken away. He has a problem with Taichi, Taka, other guys that are in the promotion that have cheated on their wives. So that kind of leans into your Japanese culture portion of this program. I'll just say this. Just on the wrestling aspect alone, because I expected Kota Ibushi to come back right around the New Japan Cup. Apparently, he was booked to win the New Japan Cup.
I got to go next when you're done. Sorry, Zach. It'll be quick.
I think one of the biggest problems is, and I'll make it quick, one of the biggest problems is that Kota Ibushi signed a deal with New Japan. The biggest problem with this whole scenario, it started off is that Kota Ibushi went to Taka's promotion, just tapped out, and that's where the initial problem happened. Could he be there? Could he not be there? Gato gave him permission, but you probably shouldn't have been there. So that was a whole problem in and to itself. From that point, I don't have any problem with Kota Ibushi holding himself back if he physically didn't think he was ready to perform. I want him to be ready to go, preferably in the New Japan Cup. It worked itself out. Zack Sabre Jr. won it. Him and Okada had a good match. Okay. Yeah. But ultimately, as the New Japan fan, I want to see Ibushi versus Okada at least finish itself out.
Of course.
If it doesn't happen, then so be it. But I totally get where Ibushi's coming from. He's feeling disgruntled,
yes,
and he's holding a grudge like a microphone. I ain't mad at him because I would do the same damn thing.
Well, so you say that Ibushi has a problem with Taichi cheating on his wife.
Taka Ishimori as well, but that's part of the Japanese culture.
All I'm saying is if you're married to a guy with as much animal magnetism and just sexual prowess and just sexuality just dripping off him as Taichi, you know your man's out there getting fucked. He is gorgeous. He is.
Who's more pretty, Tai Chi or Kota Ibushi?
Kota Ibushi.
Okay, they're right.
Kota
So
Ibushi's
I was gonna
pretty.
say, come on now.
I'd rather fuck Tai Chi.
Okay, so I saw Renee. I saw Renee Dupree. I threw that out there on our text thread. Renee Dupree was out there.
Oh yeah, I don't want to fuck Renee Dupree. Nah, that'd hurt.
You guys got my knowing the password.
Dude's got a hog.
Okay, him and was it Dr. Wagner Jr. won the Noah Tag Team Championships the other night. I had to watch the match because that's just what I do.
I thought
about you guys.
Renee Dupree. I thought Renee Dupree's partner was his hog.
It can't physically come out of the trunk to wrestle.
So we're not talking about Ibushi anymore, right? We should move on.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, as a huge New Japan fan, I want him to come back, but I don't know if he's coming back or not.
All right, that's going to do it for our 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
All right, a couple odds and ends, guys.
Please.
What are they doing with Lacey?
I like the direction they were going. I want her to be a baby
Did you
face.
see her come out the other night and they were like, she asked that you please stand to show the proper respect? Like, is she a heel now?
That's where I was like,
because that's
I don't
a
know where
swerve
we're
for
doing.
all swerves, but they should have made it more obvious.
That's why everything she's done as babyface promos, that was heelish to where I was like, what?
Yeah, and they spent like 2 months on this shit, man. Austin,
don't fuck this up.
Zach, did you happen to see Austin Theory versus Cody?
No, I actually meant to watch the Hulu replay of Raw, but I heard that it ended in a DQ, and I was like, well, there's no point.
Yeah, Austin Theory, he fucking rules. Like, I'm on board the train. Like, he gets it. He is a really good, smarmy friend of Vince McMahon heel.
You can go back into the BFR archives. I know I've said Austin Theory and Evolve on this podcast on multiple occasions. I will stick to that, minus the Me Too nonsense he got himself into, and that's a whole nother story for another time.
Just a couple other things. Have you guys seen Santino's daughter in NXT?
You're the only motherfucker that watches NXT. That's why I asked you about Io Shirai.
So you guys have not seen Ariana Grace?
I'm sure I've seen a picture of her. I mean, yeah.
Maybe not. They're having the new breakouts
tournament, yeah.
And she had a match with Nikita Lyons, and I can't remember who it was. It might have been Patriot Pat. Somebody said that, like, horny wrestling Twitter is about to melt down over this shit. Nikita Lyons gets a lot of attention for her figure. I'm just going to say go check out...
sorry. I'm still Electra Lopez. Sorry. That's my baby.
Santino Morella's daughter, Ariana Grace.
Still.
She is
Electra Lopez.
Very talented.
I still stand Tammy Sytch. No,
they to boot her ass out of the WWE Hall of Fame. That's crazy.
What a dick. Let's see. Anything else? No. NXT was terrible.
What?
Anything else you guys want to talk about? We're getting ready to sign off. Any closing thoughts for the week?
No. BSOJ starting on the
maybe
the
we should call this the go home section of the show. All right, guys, let's go home. Jason, what's your go home?
BSOJ starting this weekend. It's going to be the first time in like 2 or 3 years where you're going to see guys from different promotions coming over to New Japan. Ace Austin, Will Yuta. I'm sure I missed TJP. It should be real interesting to see who do you got? Who do you got?
I'd have to look at the list again. The pure champion, I don't think he's going to win, but I look for him to have a pretty good showing.
We talked about it. I said like 5-4 last week. Wheeler Yuta?
No, the ROH pure champion.
Wheeler
that's
Yuta?
not who I'm thinking of. Fuck. I don't know. Go ahead, Zach. Who do you think's going to win?
Who you got, Two-Beer?
I'm looking right now at the block, but I don't have like the
B
layout,
block is
which
stacked.
matters.
B block is insane.
Actually, I have it.
Yeah.
It's still written down.
This is a great podcast.
Hey, man, look. I can't help you, motherfuckers.
I mean,
ain't prepared.
Hiromu and Taiji Ishimori on the A block, and maybe Sho. I think Sho have a strong showing, but it's probably either Takahashi or Ishimori on the A block, and then B block. I mean, Despy, Phantasmo.
Yeah.
I
Isn't
don't
Sho?
see any of the.
Show's in the A
I
block.
don't think any of the visitors are gonna go to the finals, but
I wouldn't be surprised if
Could be
Wheeler
wrong.
either did. Would not be surprised if Wheeler Utah went to the finals if they're just trying to. I think it's cool that, like we were talking about this last week, Zach. I think it's cool that he's just going over there for 4 weeks or 5 weeks.
Ace Austin the same way.
Very cool, man. Like, and
yeah,
that evens up the odds in that blood and guts match too. But
I'll say it. Ishimori's the champion right now. And there was a while back where he and ELP kind of teased a little beef about the junior heavyweight championship. So if I'm going to call my shot and I'm going to say a champion who wins the tournament, I'll do it right now. It's probably going to be wrong, but I'm connecting the dots the best way I can possibly can. I'm going with ELP to win it all.
well, then I'm going Hiromu. I'll take the chalk.
Look at you. You ain't shit.
I'll take the chalk.
Two beer, it doesn't matter. Nobody's getting ready to get whipped. Who you got?
I mean, Hiromu is always a safe bet, but I feel like maybe give it to somebody else.
TJP.
I like TJP. All bullshit.
I'd like to.
aside.
I want to see. I do want to watch 9 TJP matches.
They're going to be good.
Yeah, they're going to be good.
To be better than his tattoos, I'm going Sho.
Okay.
I like Sho.
Dude.
I was thinking about Sho. Hey Zach, what's your go home for the week?
If you own a gaming system that will play it, go buy Elden Ring because it has kept me from watching anything but the most essential wrestling because that's all I want to do in my free time. So it's worth the $60. I never buy games whenever they're brand new and they're $60, but I got this for my birthday for my wife and kids, and I'm so glad they bought it for me because it's all I want to do is eat, sleep, Elden Ring, jerk off.
Does Dexter play with you too as well, or are you just doing that solo dolo?
So not with me, but he does play when I'm not playing. Like I'm sure he's playing right now.
Bill, what's your go home?
My go home of the week is there was a movie that came out last year that I was excited when I heard it was being made. It was called The Last Duel with Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Adam Driver, directed by Ridley Scott. It's a true story of the last duel in France ever. And the movie it's about a rape that happens. So there's these two rivals, and the one rival gets accused of raping the other rival's wife. And then the one guy says, he goes all the way up to the King of France. He says, I want to fight this guy to the death. And
Damn.
the king grants it.
Okay,
That's why it's called The Last Duel. I'm not giving anything away.
Okay,
the movie is told from.
Stop the tape.
Sure.
So the guy that is being accused goes to the King of France?
No.
Oh, the
accuser.
Okay.
He says, I
Fuck
think
that.
this guy raped
I
my
think
wife. She's telling me. And then it tells the story from his perspective, the other guy's perspective,
And
the
then
wife's perspective. And then the end is
it
the
all
last
meets
duel.
in one.
So it was an actual duel to the death. And I'm telling you,
And then
the last scene between Matt Damon and Adam Driver, they start on horses and they're like jousting and then they're like fighting with swords and shit. It's the best wrestling match I've seen all year. It is like, it's full of highs and lows and they say shit to each other. It's unreal. I've watched the last scene, which lasts about 30 minutes, 4 times in the last 8 days. That's how much I like this movie. It's on HBO Max. It's called The Last Duel. Matt Damon, Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck is unreal in it. Adam Driver, Jodie
Adam
Comer.
Driver is
Dude, this movie,
the Star Wars guy, right?
This movie
that fucked up Star Wars, right?
This movie is
That
so
dude.
fucking good.
Motherfucker.
You can't even imagine it. Anyway, that's my
I thought you were going to say that it turns out that in the end it was Kevin Spacey all along.
I love that fucking movie. Usual Suspects. Good shit. Good
Anyway,
shit.
The Last Duel. It's on HBO Max. Couldn't recommend it more.
Okay, fair enough.
This is banned from Ringside.
I like that segment, the go home segment.
Look at
Anything you want to talk about,
Look
huh?
at you.
Huh?
Look at you.
All right,
I like that.
We got some birthdays this week. Mae Young.
R.I.P. Don't look at me
Would
like
have been
that.
99. Kenta is 42. That means Kenta is younger than me. That fucks me up. Matt Jackson. You know which one that is? Is that the older one or the younger one?
Motherfucker, I know which one of you.
Is that the older one or the
If he
younger one?
super kicked you in the face, I knew which one that motherfucker is. I'll tell you that.
Is it the older one or the younger one?
I don't know. I think it's the older.
Matt Jackson. Zach, the older one or younger one?
Yeah.
Matt is older.
Zach nailed it.
But he
He
looks
should.
Don't fucking say, but he looks younger to me. That's only fucking me up more.
How old is he?
He's 37.
Okay.
The aforementioned Santino Marella, 48. His daughter, Ariana Grace. Go out of your way to check her out. She's got some great
If you're
moves.
gonna make me want to put a sock on my hand.
He's heating up.
I'm dead.
How can we go on? How can we go on after that?
I'm dead. That's it. Wrap it up. Bring out the trucks.
That's the number one
Who
joke.
gives a fuck about anybody else's birthday at that point? That is
That's
joke.
the end, man.
That's joke of the year.
That's joke of the fucking podcast. Unbelievable. Iron Sheik is 80. Jordan Devlin is 32. The aforementioned MJF. 26 this
That
week.
dude's getting ready to get paid
Unbelievable
out the
joke.
ass.
I'm sorry if you guys couldn't hear it on the.
No, he always tells me to take the mic away from me when I'm laughing like that. I had to.
Samoa Joe is 43.
Who is?
Samoa Joe.
Don't say you sound like Chris Jericho last night.
I said Samoa Joe.
No, you didn't.
You guys are stoned.
You stoned.
Test.
R.I.P. Don't look at
Would have
me.
been younger than you. He's 47. Rick the Model Martel.
Oh, no.
What do you mean? Thank you.
I
He's
know,
already
I
dead.
said- I know. I
Rick the
shouldn't have
Model
said
Martel is 60, or would have been 66, and EC3 would have been 39.
that. You ain't shit. He's still.
Gotta control that narrative.
Can't. This play's coming in raw, baby.
Hey, everybody, we know there's tons of podcasts to listen to, so we appreciate you listening to ours. For Lucha Chris, for Tender Mahal, for Grandel Wrestling.
Double check. I got the shirt on.
Nice. For Two Beer Zach Pullman. Did I say Lucha Chris? Did I say Sideways in Time? Did I say Patriot Pat? Listen, I'm sorry, EC3. If you hear that, I am sorry, dude.
He ain't sorry.
Your life means something. It is worth something. For Jason Cornelius Bell.
Konnichiwa, bitches.
For Bill Vagey. We're going to go
Yeah,
watch
shit.
the NBA. And everybody,
Yeah,
never
shit.
forget to boo the heels.
EC3, we coming for you, bitch.
Oh, shit. Poor EC3.